Today has been an interesting day for dumb females. That's the best way I know how to put this. So today you have AOC standing up in front of Congress talking about Charlie Kirk in the most negative way humanly possible, at the same time where now something has been leaked to Axios that she may be running for president in 2028. At the same time, another equally dumb female, Kamala Harris, is posting about how, paraphrasing here, Jimmy Kimmel losing his show is against freedom of speech and it's atrocious and it's not something that should happen and blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. But she's also the same woman who posted on X that Donald Trump should have his Twitter account at the time, or X account at the time, completely suspended and banned. So are you for free speech or not for free speech? Are you for consequences for your actions or not for consequences? I'm very curious how this really works. Now, what is also very interesting to me is that Kamala Harris, you guys might remember this. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to show it to you. Do you guys remember when she was on this interview and he was asking her if she owned a gun? This is when she was running for president, horribly so. And they were talking about guns and stuff. And she said, yes, I own a gun. I have a Glock is what she said. Well, she's not going to be able to hold on to it much longer, thanks to her governor, Gavin Newsom, over there in California, because in the middle of everybody either sleeping or, blinking, the California legislature passed AB 1127. They're calling it the Glock ban. That's the nickname for it, right? They also passed AB 1078, AB 1263, all of it in last minute moves, bypassing robust public debate and scrutiny. So basically what this means is AB 1127 specifically targets the sale of certain semi-automatic pistols by licensed dealers, with the ban set to take effect on July 1st, 2026. So less than a year, right? About obviously more than 6 months, or 8 or 9 months. If it's signed by Governor Newsom. He is definitely going to sign it because he does not believe in anybody's rights according to the Constitution or anything like that. So another leading Second Amendment advocates, including the California Rifle and Pistol Association, the CRPA, and the NRAILA, condemned the bills as unnecessary, redundant with federal law, and harmful to law-abiding citizens. What this is just another way to ensure that the people of California can't protect themselves from other people in California. That's pretty much what it comes down to. California is almost a lawless state. Plus, you take into consideration all of the backhanded, whatever dirty things that Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass in LA are doing to the citizens of California with Pacific Palisades, and basically taking the homes out from underneath them after the fires to turn them into low-income housing and whatever else it is they're going to do, selling off the land to billionaires. I don't know if you guys have heard of Spencer Pratt before. I've known Spencer Pratt, not personally, let me rephrase. I have known of Spencer Pratt for a very, very long time because of a show called The Hills, and then some other show after that, where he was on the show with his girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife, Heidi Montag, I think is her name. She used to be this normal, adorable, although annoying blonde girl. And then somehow she got it into her head that in order to be famous and whatever else, she had to plastic up head to toe, turned into this crazy bimbo kind of thing. And Spencer Pratt was always batshit, straight up batshit crazy and overbearing and jealous. And now I step back and I go, well, maybe it was just for the show. Maybe it was for ratings. Although after the show ended, they were both still in the limelight for a while and he was still batshit crazy. But now, weirdly, he is the one leading the revolution in California against Gavin Newsom and against Karen Bass when it comes to what's being done to the homeowners there and their land after the Palisade fires. He is going to the FBI, the CIA, all these different people trying to get text records, trying to get mail records or something like that, email records on things that have gone back and forth between Newsom and Bass and developers and buyers and everything else to show the underhanded, dirty things that have been going on in California. And now you have, Newsom and everybody else in California that are obviously libtards that are trying to slide in even more negatives for that state, taking away your constitutional right to defend yourself. People will be like, it's just a Glock, go buy a different gun. Until it's that one or that one or that one, right? It's a whole thing. Either way, I wonder when he signs this, if he's going to go knock on Kamala's door and be like, oh, honey, I'm going to need your Glock back that you said you had that she probably doesn't have because she also doesn't have a straight husband. So there's that. And then how that's going to go. All right, let's go back. AOC running for president. I've been on the app X today, and it's showing me a ton of AOC stuff because obviously that's the trending thing. And they want everybody talking about AOC and what's going on and her degrading Charlie Kirk and things like that. And I'm not going to show it because she does not deserve airtime on my channel. She'll probably get it in numerous other places. That's fine. I'm not going to do it. Y'all know what she looks like. You know how she sounds. She's a twat. It is what it is. But her running for president in 2028, they literally have nobody left. When you are scraping the bottom of the barrel to use AOC as your possible presidential nominee, how far have you fallen that is what you have? We're going to put Jasmine Crockett as her VP running mate. It's almost like with Kamala Harris, it's almost like the left is asking to lose. Like they are preemptively going, we don't want the next 4 years. We'll just throw it into the gutter because that's what they did with Kamala Harris. I mean, they weren't going to win anyway with Joe Biden, but the second they took him out on against his will, because, you know, auto pin and whatnot, the second they took him out and slid her in without her being voted in, which again, we're not going to get into all that, and slid her in and then give her, you know, $1 billion worth of funding to try to win and still couldn't do it. What are they going to do for AOC? Like, all I can picture is her starting her OnlyFans and trying to get a vote per nipple. Like, I'll show you a nipple, you give me a vote. Like, that's going to be how it has to go. She likes to, that's what I was saying. I saw a video of her on X where she was in Idaho. And she's standing up there with Bernie Sanders and she's talking about how people think that Idaho is a conservative state, but they're going to show them they're not a conservative state. And I'm like, that is not the flex that you think it is. Telling everybody that you don't have morals is not the flex that you think it is, boo-boo. And she's standing up there and she's like, you know, we're united. They're not going to divide us based on our sex or our race or our religion. And it's like, that's exactly what you do. It's the hypocrisy that comes from the left is mind-boggling to me. And the fact that she got up on the stage and she was like, as a waitress turned whatever the crap she is and blah, 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 blah. That's also not the flex that you think it is. You were put into the position you're in because of how you look, because you have boobs and you had long hair and you had a dimple, not because you have a brain. There is nothing up in there. You are the female version of the Scarecrow from Oz. There is nothing going on in your brain. Well, that's a Tin Man, right? Tin Man? Now I sound as stupid as AOC. Tin Man had no heart. Scarecrow had no brain. Lion had no courage. Dorothy had LSD in her system. I don't know what was going on with the Wizard of Oz. But either way, this should be a very easy 2028 presidential run. I'm just thinking ahead because the fact that she is up there right now today with all these things that are going on, all the things that are being passed, the things that the Democrats are voting against, they voted against, what was it? I can't remember the names or the numbers because, you know, brain. But when they wanted to do something for Melissa Hortman, the one who was murdered by the guy who said Tim Walz hired him to do all these things, which people just suddenly stopped talking about also. Once Melissa Hortman was murdered and her husband, I believe, they did this vote to make it like a special something or other for her. I wish I had saved this for myself so that this would be a lot easier for us to discuss. They passed this thing and the Republicans all voted yes for it, right? But then you have, now they're trying to do the same thing for Charlie Kirk. And I think it was like 60 Democrats voted no or something like that. Oh, did I save it? Y'all, I'm just trying to scroll here on X where I have stuff saved and I don't have it. The House votes 310 to 58 to condemn Charlie Kirk's assassination, honor his legacy, and denounce political violence. 58 Democrats voted against it, which is insane. This is it here. If you guys want to see, go bigger. So this is that, right? And so the Democrats, 58 voted against it. But when it was the same thing for Melissa Hortman, every single Republican voted yes for it. The fact that you have Democrats voting no for this shows you just how far that these people have fallen from the humanity ladder, the moral ladder, the ethical ladder, all of it. It's absolutely trash. Then you take into consideration let's go back to Gavin Newsom real fast, because I saw this post about Gavin Newsom. Do y'all remember when Charlie Kirk was on his show? Newsom has a podcast because, everybody and their mama has a podcast these days. And so Newsom has his podcast, and he asked Charlie Kirk to please be on his podcast. Gavin Newsom needed Charlie in order to get any sort of views. Charlie did not need Gavin Newsom. Here's what's happened. Gavin Newsom, this is this guy named Terrence posted this on X, and I just want to read it to you. It says, Gavin Newsom is the worst kind of human being, which we can all agree with. He should be standing up for Charlie Kirk because Charlie was kind enough to go on Gavin's own podcast and debate him, which helped Gavin out a lot. Let's be real. Charlie didn't need Gavin. Gavin needed Charlie. Gavin even admitted that his young son loved Charlie Kirk. I remember watching this whole thing and hearing him say, oh, my son loves you. He's so excited to meet you. And he can't wait for, you being on the show, whatever else. And, Gavin was like nice with it. And Charlie always was very humble and happy and smiley and whatever else. And so Gavin Newsom, now to repay him, is defending Jimmy Kimmel and siding with the people mocking and celebrating Charlie's death, which isn't just wrong, it's also heartless. For him to sit there and jump on the Jimmy Kimmel butt train and talk about how it's awful that Jimmy Kimmel's been taken off the show for the things that he said, but then not say anything to condemn what's been going on, number one, with Charlie Kirk's assassination, but number two, with all these lefty libtards jumping up and cheering about it all. For Gavin to say absolutely nothing about that. Now, he did do one post, and it was like, oh, we don't condemn violence like that, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. You do condemn violence like that. That's why your state is the shithole that it is. The shit stain of the United States is California, because this is exactly the kind of stuff that you condone. You do not condemn it, okay? Anyway, I want to read this one to you also because I just think it's hilarious. There's this guy named Bile Holt. He's related to, my brain can never remember if it's Gladys Knight or Patti LaBelle, and it's one of them. Gladys Knight or Patti LaBelle, I do not remember which one, but he is related, right? And he's a black gay male Trump supporter, like massive Trump supporter. And he posted here, he said, in her new book, Kamala says the reason she didn't pick Pete Buttigieg, whatever, for her running mate is because America is too bigoted to vote for a black woman and a gay man at the same time. He goes, first off, lady, you're not black, which we all know. Secondly, the guy you did pick to be your running mate was gayer than 10 booty plugs blowing the entire Eagles football team on a busy Sunday in Times Square. Y'all seen Tim Walz and his little fancy whatever, his little spirit fingers when he comes out on stage and the way he like hop skips around, and his wife, oh, bless it. Thirdly, just you by yourself was enough to make 2 million more people vote for Trump just to keep you out. So spare us the postmortem on how you actually saved your campaign by being homophobic. Truth is, you just didn't want Pete's DEI-ness to outshine yours. P.S. Nobody is buying your book, just like nobody bought your vice presidency. Have a nice day. Which, this is my kind of clapback. Like, this is how my brain works, and I try not to vocalize it all the time, although sometimes, it does come out as saucy and salty as this. But it's true. It wasn't that she didn't want somebody that was going to make it hard for people to vote for her, because isn't that the whole push for the left is gay pride, black trans pride, all this other stuff, that you would think that by putting a gay man up there with her, it would have been like the cherry on top of everything, and it would have pulled in all the votes from the left, right? But that's unfortunately for her not how it worked. She picked Tim Walz. That didn't help either. They lost by a landslide. And so now 2028, everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do. I was telling my husband earlier, I don't know why I just did this. Y'all don't know. He's that way. He's taking a shower. He's over there. I was telling him earlier, I was like, it's really interesting that we haven't really heard anything from or about Kamala Harris in the last, I don't know, like 6 months. Maybe she's been in rehab for that drinking. I don't know. That's my opinion. That's what I think would be a good place for her to be. That's not fact. Let me just throw that out there before, the YouTube police show up. But the only thing we've heard is when President Trump took away her security detail. If you saw the video where I talked about it, I said Social Security. I don't know what my brain did, but this was a couple of weeks ago. I was like, he took away her Social Security detail. Y'all, just regular security detail. She doesn't get Social Security, so we're fine there. But President Trump took away her security detail, her Secret Service detail. Then she had security detail through California, which then that got canned because they realized that the people who were supposed to be on her security detail were just sitting around eating food off the trunk of a car, watching football and not really paying any attention. So they took that away, which is probably at least one taxpayer is probably happy that his money's not being spent on some bullshit anymore, right? But you haven't really heard from her until she came out, condemning the yanking off the air of Jimmy Kimmel. Didn't really condemn the Charlie Kirk stuff the way that she should have. I don't believe that she will be back in the running for 2028 because you can only get beat so hard. There's no way she's coming back for a second round of that. So now that AOC is, it's been leaked to Axios that AOC will be on the 2028 ticket, ballot, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure she either leaked it herself or Axios is lying because they are known to just be 100% full of shit on a lot of things. So take that with a grain of salt. But if AOC is who they are planning to strut out to run for president in 2028, let me just go ahead and congratulate Republicans on another 4 years in the White House, because there is no way in hell that anybody is going to be, well, no, there are some that are going to be dumb enough to vote for her, but even less will be dumb enough to vote for her than we're dumb enough to vote for Kamala. They're going to try to say AOC is black also. Just know they're going to throw that in there somewhere. I'm sure like 17 grandpas back, maybe there was somebody with some black in them. I don't know, but I'm sure they'll try to find a way to throw it out there, or she'll come out as bisexual or something to check off a couple more of those little DEI boxes they're so excited to have on everything. Anyway, that's it. Just want to have that conversation with y'all. I love you immensely. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Let me know in the comments how stupid you think it is that AOC is just AOC. Okay, goodbye.